Air India Express Airlines management has been saying that they're engaging with the crew to understand the reasons. All feedback channels are open for employees. Yet such a drastic measure has been taken where 25 cabin crew members have already been sacked.
In fact, that number has risen just in the last 10 minutes or so. I have learned that 30 cabin crew members have been terminated. The airline making it absolutely clear that as far as they are concerned, they're going to be taking a lot of action. They don't want this sort of disruption. It disrupts the operations of the airline, thousands of passengers being impacted on a daily basis. Now, simultaneously, what we are hearing is that there may be some talks which are held between the union of the airline and the management of the airline. Remember, this union is not what the management of the airline has typically accepted as being a legitimate union of the airline. However, I believe after 2 p.m. today, there is a possibility of some talks. The Chief Labour Commissioner is involved in this. The Civil Aviation Ministry is monitoring the situation very closely. And the management of the airline is also holding a town hall to address some of the concerns of these workers who are protesting. But I think the big point over here, as we run those termination letters on the screen, after having masked out the names of the affected employees, is this, that the airline, with 76 flight cancellations or flights being impacted today, the airline itself is, in a pretty difficult situation. The word they're using is 76 flights at least have been affected. That includes flight cancellations. It also includes flight delays. They are trying to get group aircraft, in other words, Vistara aircraft and Air India aircraft to operate on certain routes. That's being worked out. So the number of impacted flights is 76. I would suggest that a large number of those would be cancellations today as well.
Right, Vishnu, but this comes at a time when, of course, we've heard the Labour Commissioner slamming the Tata Airlines, calling it mismanaged, going on to even say that this is a blatant violation of labour laws, which has been apparent, and also going on to say that the grievances of the employees is absolutely genuine.
That's right. This is a story that NDTV broke yesterday. This was the Delhi Labour Commissioner, or one of the Delhi Labour Commissioners, who in a very sharp letter to the management of the Tata Group and also to Air India Express, said that there are complaints which have been raised by workers. There is a government-run conciliation process. You have to be a part of that conciliation process. You have not sent anybody credible or senior enough to deal with this. The concerns which have been raised by the workers are legitimate concerns. You have to listen to them. You cannot state arbitrary rules. Now, that was at the level of the Delhi Labour Commissioner, but the Chief Labour Commissioner is now, as I understand it, actively involved in this entire process. So there is the management, there are the workers, there is the Chief Labour Commissioner, and there is, of course, the union. So talks taking place, but unless there is an actual breakthrough, then, flight cancellations will get cascaded, number one. And number two, the airline has showed absolutely clearly that as far as they are concerned, terminations is the way they're going to deal it. If you don't operate flights, if you don't come into work, if you call in sick, then you will be terminated. That is the message which the management of the airline is now sending out.
Vishnu, they've already terminated about 10% of the 300 cabin crew members who've been protesting.
That's right. The number yesterday was 300. And these are senior cabin crew members. 30 of them have been sacked. That number is likely to go up as well. We've gone through the letters. A couple of grounds have been quoted. Okay, I have some breaking news coming in right now, Divya. This is from Air India Express. 74 flight cancellations today. Let's have that up. Let's flash that. 74 flight cancellations today. These are not impacted flights. These are flights which have been cancelled. Yesterday, it was approximately 90 flights, 76 flights which have been cancelled today. But to just return to the point that you were mentioning, what happens next in this entire process is something that we're going to have to wait and see. The airline very clearly, the management stating what their position is going to be. But yes, 1/10 of those senior cabin crew officials, cabin crew members have been terminated. Whether that number will go up or not, that remains to be seen. The letters, and I've gone through the letters, Ishika has gone through the letters as well, quote certain grounds that, you are obliged to have come to work, you are obliged to have done this, you have not done this, and therefore your services have been terminated. So it's a letter, and then there is an attachment. You open the attachment, it says how you've been terminated. That's what the letter says. I'll just read that out. your act of reporting sick for work amounts to a concerted action with a common understanding to not operate the flight and to disrupt the services of the company. This is not only in violation of applicable laws, but also violates the Air India Express limited employee service rules as applicable to you. One final point, Divya, all of these workers who did go on this protest, it wasn't just one or two stations. As I understand it, it was perhaps every single station that Air India Express operates from where they went on this protest. Not using the word strike, but certainly the word protest.
But they've, been vocal and they've been voicing their issues and grievances, say for about a week now, is from what we are hearing.
In fact, they've been, in fact, longer, Divya. I also have in my possession a show cause notice, which was issued to the management of Air India Express from the Labour Commission dating back to late last year, saying that, there are problems. Why don't you come forward? Why don't you start speaking and try and resolve this industrial crisis? Now, so, the situation reached a head in the last couple of days. But this has been a problem which has been mentioned by these cabin crew members for a while. I think it's important also, as far as NDTV is concerned, and for all of us reporting the story, to understand that, there are both sides of the story. In as much as we are reporting the concerns made by cabin crew members, it's equally important to say that this is the management of an airline that is trying to bring in a new work culture. This is the management of an airline which is trying to introduce new standards through which people will be assessed. There are new salary structures which have been introduced. A lot of the Air India Express workers have come in from the old Air India culture of working. It was a government enterprise. If you do work a professional workplace, Divya, you and I have contracts, where we work, it's professionally run. We are assessed a particular manner. If we don't perform, then we are assessed lower, etc., etc. These are new guidelines which the airline has now brought in. So it's for these employees to accept it. And if they don't accept it and they go on strike or protest as they've done, they will be terminated. This isn't to suggest that many of the concerns raised by these employees are not valid. But two sides of the story, a way has to be found, because ultimately it's passengers who are being inconvenienced. Thousands of them on a daily basis, 74 flight cancellations today.
Right. Thank you for highlighting both sides of that issue as far as the Air India Express Airlines is concerned. But Vishnu, also just take us through how long. What we're hearing is that they're going to be operating on curtailed schedule till the 13th of May. But it seems like it could even go on for longer.
Well, Divya, that's anybody's guess right now. They are saying curtailed operations till the 13th of May. My understanding is that these flights cannot really operate unless you have senior cabin crew members on board. So if you are sacking or terminating cabin crew members, then where are you going to replace them? Obviously, it's a larger airline. Whether they can bring in these cabin crew members from another part of the airline or not, that has to be seen. That is problematic because the others on other airlines have different aircraft that they're operating. They may not be certified as cabin crew members on the Boeing 737 MAX 8 or the Boeing 737-800 aircraft, which is what the large number of aircraft operated by Air India Express are. So where they'll get senior cabin crew members, we'll have to see. That's also a rostering issue, which the airline will need to figure out. What is the minimum number of senior cabin crew members that they can actually operate with? And in that time period, until they figure this all out, curtailed operations, as we've been reporting, till the 13th of this month.